Yeah, so just a quick little update, and then I have something cool to talk about today. So first update, I am selling in this bag right here, if you can see it, yep, is my M13, my multi-effects stomp box that was just in the video about my looper thing. Getting rid of it. A couple of reasons. One, I realize it's not doing everything I want it to. I want an effects box that, I basically want two of these, but because it's so big and bulky, I can't justify keeping it right now. I need something that is far less gigantic and bulky on my desk and far easier to transport around and use. And I don't know. I really like it workflow-wise, kind of, but it's ergonomically, it's just not fitting into what I'm doing. The second thing is, when I purchased this, when I was searching around, I found out that there's a company called JHV3 that mods these and makes them hi-fi. And now that I know that exists, I just cannot be happy with the generic version, which is, I guess, my gas or gear acquisition syndrome, as it's known, coming out. Who knows? There are days when I get pretty bad gas. But I think the big thing is taking up too much space, not fitting into my workflow ergonomically, excuse me. And I'm not using it to do anything productive right now, so I'm going to repurpose it into something that will be productive, and who knows what that will be. That will be exciting. So, yeah, second thing I wanted to talk about is I have a comment on a video. I'm super excited about that. So thank you for starting the conversation. I will definitely reply today, but I had to get this one out because there's something else super exciting to talk about. Beardyman, or someone, just released a video of Beardyman doing an interview about his setup. And if there's one thing about Darren Foreman, Beardyman, he is probably he's probably my single greatest inspiration when it comes to designing instruments, because his looper is a dream. His machine is a dream, I think, for many people. I think that out of all of the people in the world, he has shortened the distance between thought and music, especially when you talk about kind of a modern electronic style music, more than anyone else has. And there are other people working towards this goal, but Beardyman has probably invested the most time, money, and effort into dialing something in so perfectly. And I think my favorite part about it is he's not selling it. So the system he's designed is not designed to fit into a price point. It's not designed, he didn't skimp on anything to make it less expensive or to make it more portable or to make it more marketable or to make the package simpler. He designed it to work as best as it possibly could for his musical creation, which I think is fantastic. So seeing that video is amazing. And anything that Darren Foreman releases or that is released about Darren Foreman, I'm obsessed over. I cannot get enough of Beardyman. I've watched probably every single second of video about Beardyman that is available online to watch, multiple times. So this video was absolutely fantastic because it's amazing to see the modern perspective. I went and saw a Beardyman show in San Francisco a couple years ago, and because I'm used to seeing all of his videos on YouTube, I wasn't aware that when he does his live performances, or back then when he was doing his live performances, it's like a club performance. Like he's playing rave music, playing club music for hours straight, and you're meant to be standing up dancing. And at the time, I was more hoping for a sit-down comedy-style show, which apparently is what his new tour is. So I'm kind of hoping that I can go see that, because it would be amazing to see such an incredible person up close. And especially one of those shows, I just think it would be amazing to be there. I think as far as improvisation, combining improvisation with live music production, he's the pinnacle. He's the best you can get right now. And it's really inspiring. So in that video, one thing I think was really cool that he mentioned was that the reason why he does improvisational, kind of starting with a blank slate and giving himself as many options to go in as many different directions as possible, is because the way that his mind works, he can't play something over and over and over again, like night after night after night, without wanting to change it. And I think that statement right there sums up my inspiration behind really loving Reggie Watts and everything he does, really loving Beardyman and everything he does, and even someone like Tim Exile. Now, Tim Exile is a little more abstract, but I think the thing that's so fascinating to me about Beardyman and Reggie Watts, and Reggie Watts says this, that improvisation is not a just way of playing music, it's a lifestyle. It's being able to take any situation you're in and turn it into not necessarily whatever it is you want it to be, but being able to react in a way where you can, basically ride the wave of what's happening or dive in, or improvisation is being able to think on your feet, to react to things, to respond to things quickly instead of letting your automatic reactions take over, which I think is what's so exciting about it. And the thing about it, like the kind of the meta game of improvisation to me, is basically preparing your muscle memory for as many different situations as possible, or at least establishing such a strong foundation in your values and in the things that you respect and go, so that way you can trust yourself to make the right decisions in the moment. And not to say that there's one right decision, I mean there's multiple right decisions, but also to release attachment to the things that happen, because part of improvisation is realizing and allowing, I guess really like finding the intrinsic value in letting unexpected things, in things that are not the way that you wanted them to be, happen. And being able to love and respect that. And I guess being able to I think Jerry Werner is his name. God, I'm sure I butchered that. I'll have to look it up and link it too. But he says this is like, the act of improvising jazz is when you play, like, it's learning to absolutely love the sound that you're making no matter what it is. So instead of trying to set up yourself to be perfect, it's being able to just kind of move your hands around the keys or on the strings or play through an instrument or whatever, and just love the sound that's being made no matter what it is. And that's kind of like an exercise about improvisation that I think is really, really cool. But Beardyman takes that to the next level and I guess ups his expectations while still loving the result that comes out. And I think in a comedy setting, this is also something Beardyman brings up in the video, is that in a comedy setting, which a lot of his shows are labeled as comedy, I feel like you regardless of what setting people go to, when you talk about alt comedy, which I know that that's not necessarily like a thing anymore. Reggie Watts talked a little bit about this in a couple interviews, and I'm no comedian, so I don't know what it is, but in any kind of entertainment, when you set up the venue, when people are expecting an alternative comedy show or something like Reggie Watts or Beardyman, there's zero expectation. So if you go to a Beardyman concert and let's say his rig broke, so all he's left with is like an electric guitar and a microphone to beatbox into, and possibly like his little backup foot looper, like that would be an excellent alt comedy show. And even though it might be disappointing for him because of all the work he's put into developing his show now, it would still be amazing to see. Or even if you went to like a Reggie Watts or Beardyman show and there was no gear whatsoever, like if for whatever reason the power was out and all it was him on stage talking to the audience, I think that it would be really cool to see. And so I think that he was talking about he's not so sure he likes being put in a comedy venue because he doesn't fit the typical comedy thing where a comedian usually spends a long time developing their material and finding the right punchlines and the right timing for things. But then once that material is released, it's dead and they have to start over again. Where since he's improvising everything, and this is the same thing that Reggie Watts says, it's never the same twice. So he doesn't need to think, the time is spent developing the improvisation, developing the instrument, whether it's just, one looper and whatever goofy noises he's making, or in the case of Beardyman, an incredibly complicated instrument and the skills to master that and to be able to use it without thinking about it. So I'm, like I said, really, really excited every time I see any Beardyman thing released, anything with Darren Foreman, any interview. I've probably watched, like I said, everything that he's released, every second of content with him in it, at least twice. But the main point is, to take away from this, is I think it really inspires me to improv more as a lifestyle. And when it comes to making beats, I think, you know, there's two sides to everything. One is being business smart and marketing smart and being able to do things that make sense financially for your life to hold up like your money pillar of success, your financial pillar of success. And the other thing is doing something that you respect to, you know, fulfill the happiness part of what you're doing. And I think the cool part for me, especially in thinking about selling this piece of gear, usually I get sad about selling this pieces of gear, but in this case I'm not, because it's kind of been a slight frustration for me and a big distraction for me. And I was playing a little bit this morning with my simplified loop setup, where I have like some drums on my phone and my my keyboard going into just the looper dry, and I don't even have a mic input yet. I'll probably get my mixer or whatever and pull it out so I can have just some mic input to get a little bit of texture. But when I make beats, I don't have that mic input, which I want to, but I want to make sure that the noises I'm making are kind of abstractable, and who knows, maybe I'll kind of refine that process so that it's less free. Anyway, so basically, it's kind of a lot of stuff today, but I will link that video in the description. I will try and find that. Kenny Werner is the guy's name. I don't know why that just came to my mind. I will try and find that video also, because that's a fantastic video to watch. And again, thank you guys for starting a conversation. I have like 7 subscribers now on YouTube, which is so exciting for me. But anyway, and I'm going to keep releasing beats. I get some time this week to really focus down and make something, so hopefully I'll have one I've been working on released, and then start quite a few more. Anyway, have a great day.